It's not easy to be strict on yourself when it comes to controlling your diet, no matter what the goal is. Whatever has worked for me may not work for you. Please take care, seek professional and medical advice. Before I get into what I've learned about food and what has worked for me, please be aware that I am not a professional. I am simply sharing what I have learned as a patient that has an autoimmune disease called ankylosing spondylitis. By educating myself on anti-inflammatory food and making changes to my diet has made a massive impact in the fight against bad inflammation. I began with an elimination diet. An elimination diet is a short-term eating plan designed to identify foods that may be causing negative reactions or symptoms in an individual. It involves temporarily removing certain foods from the diet and then gradually reintroducing them to see if symptoms reappear. This process helps pinpoint specific food intolerances or allergies. Although I'm going to talk about foods to avoid or eliminate, I would like to point out I still occasionally enjoy some of these unhealthy options, except not as often as I used to. I have found by listening to my body, I now know when to stop eating junk and do a health cleanse. Foods to avoid that cause inflammation include red and processed meats, refined carbohydrates, fried foods, sugary drinks, and foods high in saturated or trans fats. These foods can trigger the body's inflammatory response, potentially worsening conditions like arthritis or heart disease. Specific foods to limit or avoid: red and processed meats. Examples include beef, pork, hot dogs, deli meats, and sausages. Refined grains. These include white bread, white rice, flour, pasta, and many packaged baked goods and cereals. Fried foods, French fries, fried chicken, and other deep-fried items can contribute to inflammation. Sugary drinks, sodas, sweetened juices, and energy drinks are high in sugar and chemicals and can trigger inflammation. Don't be fooled by fizzy drinks with sugar-free either, as they can be just as bad. Foods high in saturated and trans fats. These can be found in red meat, full-fat dairy, fried foods, and many processed snacks. Why avoid these foods? Inflammatory response. These foods can trigger the body's inflammatory response, potentially worsening chronic conditions. High in unhealthy fats and sugars. Many of these foods are high in saturated and trans fats, or added sugars, which are linked to increased inflammation. Processed and convenience foods. These often contain additives and unhealthy fats that can contribute to inflammation. Eating certain foods can cause insulin spikes. This is mainly talked about with diabetes, but is just as important for controlling inflammation. Insulin spikes can lead to inflammation through several interconnected mechanisms. When blood sugar levels rise rapidly, spikes, the body releases insulin to help cells absorb glucose. This process, especially when frequent, can trigger an immune response, leading to the release of inflammatory molecules. Additionally, high blood sugar can cause oxidative stress and the formation of advanced glycation end products ages, both of which contribute to inflammation. There are several strategies to manage insulin spikes and reduce inflammation. Primarily, I focus on dietary adjustments. These include prioritizing non-starchy vegetables and foods rich in fiber and healthy fats, while limiting processed foods with added sugar. Exercise, even moderate activity like a walk after a meal, can also significantly improve insulin sensitivity and blood sugar control. Here's a more detailed breakdown. Dietary strategies. Prioritize whole foods. Focus on consuming whole, unprocessed foods rather than relying on processed options with added sugars. Boost fiber intake. Fiber, especially soluble fiber, helps slow down digestion and the absorption of glucose, leading to more stable blood sugar levels. Incorporate healthy fats. Healthy fats, like those found in avocados, nuts, and seeds, can help regulate blood sugar responses. Consider food combinations, pairing high glycemic index GI foods, those that cause a rapid spike in blood sugar, with foods that are high in protein, fiber, or healthy fats can sometimes help blunt the blood sugar response. Be mindful of meal timing. Eating a savory, protein-based breakfast can have a positive impact on blood sugar control for the rest of the day. Fasting helps loads, but I'll cover that in another video. Incorporate fermented foods. Research has shown that fermented foods, like yogurt and sauerkraut, can positively influence the gut microbiome. Potentially reducing inflammation. Consider food sequencing. The order in which you eat foods can affect your blood sugar response. For example, eating vegetables before carbohydrates can help, or even a more varied amount of vegetables at the same time to make a more nutritionally complex meal. Limit processed foods and sugary drinks. These can cause rapid spikes in blood sugar and contribute to inflammation. Other considerations. Gut health. A diverse and healthy gut microbiome plays a role in regulating blood sugar and inflammation. Individualized approach. It's important to find what works best for your individual body. Organic foods may offer higher nutrient density and reduced exposure to pesticides and herbicides, which could indirectly contribute to lower inflammation levels. However, focusing on an overall anti-inflammatory diet rich in fruits, vegetables, and healthy fats is generally recommended for managing inflammation. Here's a more detailed explanation. Potential benefits of organic food. Reduced pesticide exposure. Organic farming practices prohibit the use of synthetic pesticides, while the effects of low-level pesticide exposure on inflammation are still being studied. Reduced exposure could potentially lessen the burden on the immune system, which can be a factor in inflammation. Higher nutrient density. Some studies suggest that organic produce may contain higher levels of certain vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants. These compounds play a role in various bodily functions, including fighting inflammation. Phytochemicals. Organic foods are likely to have higher levels of phytochemicals, which are beneficial compounds found in plants. These compounds can have anti-inflammatory and antioxidant properties. Here is what a usual 3 meals a day would look like for myself and doesn't cost much to buy. For breakfast I have Greek yogurt, mixed with nuts, seeds and berries. I make this in bulk, put it into tubs and stored in the fridge for up to 3 days at a time. Lunch consists of mixed vegetables, focusing on a variety of beans, mainly soy, peas and greens. These can be bulk made also and stored in the fridge or freezer, microwaved in 5 to 7 minutes. Nuts and seeds can be added if you like, and I drizzle extra virgin olive oil on everything if I can. For dinner it could be lean meat such as chicken or turkey breast, or fish such as mackerel, tuna, salmon or cod, with more vegetables. Swapping herbs and spices around can change the flavors as well as changing the combinations of fruit, nuts, seeds, berries and vegetables. This helps to combat food boredom. Please like and subscribe for more content that could help combat inflammation and autoimmune disease.